All right, good afternoon. My name is Jamil Hairston. I'm the Public Relations Specialist for the Department of Public Safety. We're here today to talk about fireworks safety, holiday safety, and high heat safety as we approach the holiday this weekend. We have spokespeople from each of our divisions here with the Department of Public Safety. We have spokespeople from police, fire, emergency medical services, and animal care and control. So first off, we will have Lieutenant Mike Norman share some tips. Then we'll have Officer Rodriguez, Commander Casimir, and Manager Campbell. So Lieutenant, you would take it over.
And before you guys get started, if I may ask each of you to repeat your names, spell them for us, and tell us who you work for. That would be great.
Can you spell your name?
Yep. So I'll start here just so we all have it. It is Jamil, Jamil Hairston, Hairston, and I am the Public Relations Specialist for the Department of Public Safety.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Norman.
Thanks, Jamil. I'm Lieutenant Mike Norman, Mikenorman. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Cleveland Division of Fire. From a safety aspect for the Cleveland Division of Fire, we want to encourage people to not play with fireworks. Fireworks are too dangerous. Leave the fireworks to the professionals. We're going to see an increase in fires on the 4th of July. We always do. And almost half of those fires will be caused by fireworks. So we want people to take it very seriously and not play with fireworks on the 4th of July. Even sparklers. Sparklers burn at 1,800 to 2,000 degrees. It's twice the temperature of a burning log. And yet people will hand those sparklers to children. We're going to see burn injuries. We're going to see eye injuries. These can all be avoided by not playing with fireworks. And make sure that you're keeping your eye on children, even if you go to the events that we have around the city to celebrate the 4th of July. And keep our combat veterans and pets in mind as well. Celebrate the 4th of July on the 4th of July. Our combat veterans, it can be very stressful for them to have those explosions going off, so we encourage people to celebrate the 4th of July on the 4th of July. Now, grill safety, that's another source of fires that we're going to see over the weekend. With your grill, you want to make sure that it has space around it, 3 feet around the grill, and you don't want that grill on the porch or underneath any overhang. Make sure that that grill has space. If it's a gas grill, you want to light that with the lid open and make sure that the propane is turned off at the bottle when you're done grilling. If you are using a charcoal grill, remember charcoal is made to stay hot for a long period of time. So you want to let the charcoal cool and completely overnight if you can. And when you dispose of those, you want to dispose of those in a metal container. Don't put those into our plastic garbage cans that can melt them and start a fire. And the last thing I'll speak about is hydrant safety. It's never safe to play with the fire hydrants. And it does 3 things. And we just had this recently, a situation where Cleveland fire companies were delayed because they were shutting down hydrants. Don't play in the hydrants. Don't open the hydrants. It'll delay our response to an emergency. It can minimize the amount of water that we have for such an emergency. And the other thing is it draws children towards the street. It's not a safe place for children to play. So keep the hydrants closed. Stay cool at your local pool. And so here for some tips from the Division of Police is Officer Rodriguez.
I'm Officer Rodriguez. First name's Mariah, Mariah. Last name is Rodriguez. I'm the Assistant Public Information Officer for the Cleveland Division of Police. We wanted to give everybody a reminder that we do want everybody to have a safe holiday, but please be responsible. With that being said, any fireworks being discharged and excessive noise can't be cited. You can also get up to prosecution for these as well. We do have a partnership with fire and EMS during this time, and all of our agencies are aligned in effort to keep all of the residents safe. Are you guys able to hear me at all? Do I need to repeat it? Yeah. Okay. And a reminder to shooting off any firearms. We do not encourage any celebratory firearms being shot off. Anything that goes up does come down. For any of those that are traveling in, please be mindful of any road closures that may be happening, as well as parking restrictions that'll be around the city as well. Is that all?
Good afternoon. I am Commander Ellen Kazmer, Ellen Kazmier. I am the PIO with the Division of Cleveland EMS. I wanted to touch on two things, if I could, two subjects. The first, let's go with the fireworks. Fireworks are a preventable injury. We want to think burns, as Lieutenant Norman talked about sparklers. You can have a simple burn up to your most severe burn. Eye injury, loss of hearing, loss of limb, unfortunately. You can have traumatic amputations. And it's not just for the people shooting off the fireworks, it's also for the folks that are there. The neighborhood kids, maybe family, friends who have gathered. So you want to be mindful, it's not just yourself who's setting them off that you need to be careful about. And then also I wanted to mention to our veterans. Veterans, those who suffer from PTSD, it's pretty traumatic for them. Those loud concussions and the visual disturbances can really set off their PTSD symptoms. And then the other thing I wanted to go to, on the verge of maybe some of this heat breaking, right? It's been awfully hot. So we have a lot of heat emergencies that occur. And our elderly, young children, those who work outside, and those with chronic medical conditions are most susceptible. 3 stages to be just aware of. Your first is heat cramps, which are going to be just that, intense cramps. You want to get those people inside to a cool environment, hydrate and rest. And heat exhaustion, a little more severe. You've got some dizziness, possible you're going to be excessively sweaty. You're going to know that something is not right. Those folks, I would like you to take them inside, start actively cooling them. That could be a shower, could be wet, cool towels, back of the neck, cool the core. And then lastly is heat stroke, which is the most serious and life-threatening. You're going to have altered mental status. There's going to be some confusion. Your skin's not going to be sweaty. It's going to be hot, red, dry. Some nausea, vomiting is possible. And those people, I want you to start cooling them immediately and then seek immediate medical attention with them. So those are just a few things I wanted to touch on with the medical aspect of the heat and the fireworks that are coming up. And everyone have a safe and happy 4th of July. I want to introduce Manager Bruce Campbell next, Animal Control.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Bruce Campbell, B-R-U-C-E, Campbell, C-A-M-P-B-E-L-L. I'm the Division Manager of Animal Care and Control for the City of Cleveland. Here to give a few tips on pets. Pets are such an integral part of our family. I know in my house we look at our pets as family members, so we encourage you all to be very mindful of the warmer weather. And as we're approaching the 4th of July, no matter how great our police department is, they can't be everywhere at once. People start shooting off fireworks ahead of time and after and during the holidays. But if you keep your pets inside, they're less likely to be reactive to the loud noises and maybe bolt out of your yard or bolt out of the yard into the street. So if you're aware your dog has anxiety for fireworks or fear of fireworks, you might want to contact your veterinarian. They may be able to prescribe a medication that will help your dog through this loud period or through this holiday period that will help them reduce their anxiety. If your dog happens to get away from you and get bolts out of your yard, you can contact the City of Cleveland Animal Care and Control at 216-664-3069 and describe your pet, and we can see if we have your pet in our kennel, because we don't want to keep your pet in our kennel. Ideally, we want to get your dog back to your home. But one of the best ways to help you get your pet back into your home is have your dog microchipped. You know, if you put a microchip in your dog, you can get one done at the kennel for $25. We recently reunited an owner with their dog that has been lost for 6 years. And she had moved to a different part of the country, but her dog was microchipped. We were able to track her down. She kept her information current, and we're able to get her dog back to her 6 years later. So microchipping is really important. Another big thing is never leave your pet in a car unattended. Even on a mildly warm day with the windows up, even if they're cracked, the temperature can skyrocket inside of a car on even just a mildly warm day. So it's always good to keep your dogs out of the cars. Don't forget your cars. Same with your children. And on extremely hot days, I think it's important to just really keep your dogs indoors. If there's a heat advisory from the National Weather Service, you need to keep your dogs indoors. That's an ordinance in the City of Cleveland. So when there's a heat advisory out, you really need to keep your dogs indoors. If you're tethering your dog outside, make sure they have some shade access, some fresh water available to them all the time. It's really important. So don't let your dog linger outside too long. And now a lot of people like to walk their dogs. They're off work. It's a holiday weekend. If you're going to walk your dog and it's really hot out, a good test is to put your hand on the concrete or the asphalt. If it's too hot for your hand, it's definitely going to be too hot for your dog's paws. So some of the things to look out for, heat exhaustion or heat stress with a dog, is increased thirst. They're going to have increased panting. They may have a pasty saliva. They could even, when it gets really serious, they go unresponsive and become confused. So if your pet's suffering from those type of symptoms, you can use, you can apply some rubbing alcohol to the pads of their feet and apply some cool towels to their body to help cool them down, especially if they're unresponsive. But you really need, that dog needs medical care, and there are some 24-hour veterinary practices and local ones in the city of Cleveland can help you out with that. So, and those are just some quick tips, you know, that we just want people to be responsible with their pet owners. If you're taking your dog out for a walk, make sure your dog is leashed. That's an ordinance as well in the city of Cleveland. It's safer for your dog. It's safer for your neighbors. No matter how well behaved your dog is, they are still animals, and they still have a tendency. A loud firecracker, firework can make your dog bolt. And if you have your dog on a leash, you have a better chance of keeping it. And I also, again, I want to just mention, please get your dog microchipped. If your dog's not microchipped, it's only $25 at the kennel. You can call down there and we'll set you up and get your dog chipped. Lastly but not least, because we are hosting, the kennel's hosting a reduced fee. It's a Superman themed event. It's a reduced fee adoption event. That's going to run July 5th through the 13th. The kennel post-pandemic remains almost at capacity every day. So we're going to do this reduced fee adoption for only $21. You're going to get a dog that is spay or neutered. It's going to be up to date on all of its vaccines. It's going to have a current dog license, and it's also going to be microchipped. So that is such a great deal for only $21. We have an abundance of beautiful dogs. What we like to call it is great dogs from our great city. And we have an abundance right now of a lot of puppies and younger dogs. So we have some beautiful dogs at the kennel. So if you're thinking about a dog for the family or dog for yourself, July 5th through the 13th is a perfect time to get one for only $21. So thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll open it up for questions. Also, just if you require any additional information that we can't provide for you right now, I'm happy to facilitate any follow-up on behalf of the Department of Public Safety. Yes.
Perhaps best for Officer Rodriguez or for Commander Casimir, but I know that July 4th weekend, just across all cities, all times, typically tends to see higher rates of gun violence or violence in general. What are some of the steps that city officials are taking either to respond to these things, to diffuse these things before they get out of hand? What's being done knowing that this is just a general trend?
Has it been a general trend?
You know what? I'm so sorry, but this is never gonna be on news, so I don't mean to be rude at all.
No, you're fine.
And somebody else needs
Figured
to
it
answer that
wasn't gonna
question. I
work.
swear I'm not being rude.
No, you're fine. I would rather you say
Yeah,
something
it's
than
very
have her
important.
have to struggle through it. Obviously, I can speak for EMS, and that is, we're at our staffing capacity and prepared to deal with some long, warm days. We've got an event that's unit that will be down at Edgewater because traditionally that's where crowds are, but the city's just going to be busy all over. So we're just preparing for an extra busy time. We have extra busy times, New Year's Eve and other things. So just gearing up and make sure everyone is just prepared for the day to come. Is there something you wanted to convey about? I'm sure that police are doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can jump in very briefly. The division of police, as well as the city of Cleveland as a whole, is very mindful of responding to the trends in our city, especially as the summer months approach. The mayor's summer safety plan has been integral in proactively addressing the needs of our city. And so our division of police, as well as divisions of EMS and divisions of fire, are working together to make sure that our residents are in the best positions to thrive in our city as we address these summer months.
Are police, and I know that Commander Casimir said that EMS will be at full staff. Will police also be at full staff 4th of July and 4th of July weekend?
Yes, as well as we have a variety of partners that we're working with to ensure that, again, we're addressing the needs of our city.
Lieutenant Norman, a quick question for you, sir. If a fire should start, what should someone do to extinguish it? What kind of fires? Can you put water on? Should you have some kind of other suppressant?
Well, call 911. I mean, I think the first thing, if you're not a trained firefighter, the best thing you can do is get us started so that we can get there as quickly as possible. You don't want to put water on a grease fire. If it's a cooking fire, and be careful not to put water on that. If you're going to use an extinguisher, hopefully you've trained with, you have some understanding of the use of that extinguisher. A fire extinguisher should be located towards the egress, towards the door on the way out. You don't want to have to go past the fire to get the fire extinguisher. I'm starting to lose my voice. But those are the things that we would encourage people. If you have an extinguisher, something like that, at the worst case scenario, close the door on the way out if it's in the kitchen and you can close the door to contain that fire. That helps to keep it in one room and minimize the damage.
One of the other things that I want to address, and that is the explosions you hear throughout the community. It sounds like a half a stick of dynamite sometimes. Is that illegal? And if so, what should one do if you hear something like that?
It is illegal. It's more of a police question, but yeah, it is illegal. You can report that to the police. Call 911 in that case,
We'll come out there.
and the police will come out.
Our range will be open to disperse of any of firearms that are confiscated.
And any fireworks that are confiscated will be disposed of at the range. The range will be open.
Okay. Thank you.
That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Beautiful Lieutenant Commander. Despite best efforts, people will give little kids sparklers in addition to calling 911 if there's an injury. What can people do during that time when they're waiting for possibly a medic to show up on scene?
I talked to treatment for burn injuries.
Right. So the treatment for burn injury, of course, is to remove anything burning. So if it's like on their clothes, you want to remove the clothes, you want to cool them as quick as possible. A garden hose, a bottle of water will do. Doesn't have to be cold. In fact, you want to have it tepid because you don't want to put them into other physical states, but you want to keep cooling that. And then if they are more comfortable, then you just want to wrap it with something dry until EMS gets there.
Thank you. This
Mhm.
might be a question best for public safety, but thinking back to the street takeovers and lots of different incidents happening across the city, I know that Chief Todd in response to that talked about how that really stretched resources, looking toward potential situations at Edgewater and downtown and other parts of the city. How are police going to proactively station and respond to multiple incidents at one time?
You go ahead. Yeah, it's the same thing I'm gonna say anyways.
Oh, okay. Well, I can relay.
Yeah, just that we have the partnerships. You got it.
Yep. So we have partnerships with a variety of law enforcement partners that we've been partnering with in the past. Additionally, I think that it's important for us as a unit to make sure that we are being intentional in how we respond to the needs of our city. And so I can't relay the specifics to protect the integrity of what our team is doing. However, ultimately, I think we're working together with our team to make sure that we address the needs as appropriate.
Mr. Nolan, if you could address things like fireworks that don't explode, that people go to check out and see why they didn't, and or those that may explode in your hand, the kinds of things you need to look out for in regards to that.
Well, that one thing that you want to make sure of, if someone was blowing off fireworks in your neighborhood, to make sure that there aren't some leftovers that have very short fuses on them. If those get in the hands of children, those could be very dangerous. You mentioned traumatic injuries. We've seen them. I mean, as a young fireman, I crawled around a basement looking for a boy's fingers. They're very dangerous for people to be playing with. So in the event that it goes off in your hand, I think you're calling EMS, but you do anything you could to go back in time and avoid that situation. So we just hope people will be proactive and careful about what they're doing this weekend.
Is there a time limit or a curfew as to when you can and cannot? Like I hear them at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and obviously that's not a good time. Is there a time limit that you can legally set fireworks off until what time?
I don't think that you can legally set fireworks off in the city of Cleveland.
Do you know why they sell them in the state of Ohio if you can't use them?
We can follow back up with you on that.
This may be a question that you hear time and time again, but how can you differentiate the sound of fireworks and real gunfire? And talk about the 911 calls that come in. Are you inundated with 911 calls? Just talk about what a 4th of July holiday is like in the city of Cleveland.
And to repeat that question one more time if you want to.
I know you are inundated with 911 calls on the 4th of July with people reporting gunfire and the like, but is there any way to differentiate the difference between the sound of gunfire and the sound of fireworks? And what should people do if they are hearing it, overnight hours, that kind of thing? Concerned about pets, concerned about neighbors. I'm sorry, you can't.
I'm just gonna
I'm
lay
looking
it
at
over
you.
you.
Okay.
Obviously the shot spotter can detect gunfire over the fireworks, and then just to call the non-emergency as well.
Yeah, so our shot spotter technology can detect gunfire over the sound of fireworks, but we encourage residents to call our non-emergency number, which is 216-621-1234, and that's the police non-emergency number. Any other questions?
2 weeks ago, there was the emergency training at Progressive Field regarding a mass casualty incident with a specific emphasis on collaboration between the different departments. Is there anything that you learned from that training that you'll be applying this coming weekend?
We certainly hope not. I mean, that was sort of a specific training that we went through for a mass casualty incident. Hopefully we won't have that, but certainly having that training, having just been through that training, could prove beneficial in the event that we would have that. But hopefully we're not going to have that situation.
All right, thank you all very much. Again, I'm happy to follow up if we need to facilitate any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you.